Hello once again, watchers of good anime. My name is Nick Pell, and this is my review of Sound Euphonium, the movie, Our Promise, A Brand New Day. Now this film is a sequel to the anime series Sound Euphonium, which I actually watched the entirety of over the last 2 weeks, so I am very caught up to it. The film focuses on Ome-chan's second year in high school and primarily again focuses on the concert band as they pursue nationals once again, this time aiming for a gold award and winning nationals essentially, as opposed to getting bronze last year and being disappointed, I guess. Now keep in mind, I am going to be talking about the entirety of this film in this review because I don't really feel like I cannot do it to really express my opinion on the movie. So if you don't want spoilers for this film, probably go and try to watch it somewhere and then come back once you've seen it and we'll talk about it then. First thing which is very noticeable is the animation has been improved since the last time this show aired, which I think was 2016. I might be wrong on that. You can just tell that's been improved upon just since the last season came out, and it's just a nice thing to see with film versions of anime type of features. Tanya the Evil in May had the same thing that I really enjoyed. The animation just looked a lot better compared to the show. Looks like it's been spiffed up a little bit more just for a film version. I also like that throughout the course of the film there are callbacks, some more vocal than others, to things from the last 2 seasons of the show in regards to certain characters making reappearances or just shots of certain characters side by side, just kind of calling back to maybe an event that happened between 2 certain characters throughout the course of the last 2 seasons. Just things like that, or even just like little trinkets that people are wearing or have. They just kind of stand out as people, at least for people who have been watching the show, and you can just kind of see that they're paying attention to detail in regards to how they drew all these characters. And then another thing which I liked about the movie, as well as what I liked about the show in general, is that we get to actually hear, for the most part, full performances of the pieces that the ensemble is performing, because towards the end of the film we get to hear the big cool Liz and the Blue Bird piece that they were working on for the performance, and then throughout the course of the anime we got to hear various performances at the different competitions that they competed at. And so those are just things, as me as a past concert band performer myself, just really enjoy hearing. And while it's obviously probably a professional ensemble actually doing the music, it is cool to still hear it all done on stage. That said, as this is a film and it's much shorter overall than a 13 episode season or even 26 episode 2 season, it does feel kind of rushed at times. Generally it's paced pretty well for the material that they cover, but like characters can feel underdeveloped, especially newer characters like the freshmen who are just now joining the band. Some of them have a very short character arc which will resolve very quickly, and it's just things which you would know would be spread out a lot more and given a lot more detailed development and just development in general if they were in a 13 episode season or so. I also did notice some sound sync issues, at least more so with like instrumentation and performances, more like with the percussion for some reason is like one thing that I seem to notice, and then just general like trombone movements and just things with the instruments in general, which I noticed didn't necessarily match up with what was happening sound-wise, at least in my opinion. Some things just seemed late or off or what have you, so those things just kind of bug me here and there. The show in general is known for being a very Yuri heavy show, or like hinting that certain female characters are going to end up together by the end of the run, presumably. The movie kind of ends that more or less, because Ome-chan and Trombone Boy from the first 2 seasons end up as a couple essentially right away from the get-go, and so you do get the sense that that relationship is going to come into play in the 3rd season, which I think is in production. So that's just it. They don't really do anything else with like Ome and Reina or anything like that, which I found a little bit disappointing just because of how heavily they kind of drew on that and played with it in the first 2 seasons, and then they just kind of didn't do anything else in the movie. It's just kind of disappointing. And then just the ending itself just was a bit disappointing for me personally, just for the fact that when I started realizing how close it was to the end of the film and they weren't even close to nationals yet, unless it's going to be like a two-part movie, you can kind of tell what was going to happen. They basically they win gold at the competition, but they don't do well enough to move on to the next competition, which is kind of weird, just considering that they made it all the way to nationals last time, and based on the performance, it seemed awesome. And it also feels like they kind of cheat the people who were the second years, now the seniors this year, out of some character development and just content in general, because they just get kind of the short end of the stick. Well, the show focused a lot on the third years as being these kind of just wise senseis, more or less, and so, or senpais, I guess, and the second years, they just don't really seem to be able to get a chance to live up to that status. They have some funny scenes and characters stay true to how they were portrayed in the show, but I would have liked to see them get just a little bit more content. And again, if this show was, if the movie was made to basically a show length thing, then it probably would happen. But it just does feel a little bit disappointing and just kind of ends very quickly, and we don't really get a lot of satisfaction in regards to those characters like we did at the end of season 2 with the third years graduating, feeling like a very emotional thing. But that said, if you are a fan of the anime, I'd say probably still check this out, because I would assume that it'll be necessary to understand who certain characters are and what's going on in season 3, which I've read is supposed to cover Ome-chan and Reina's third years and everyone else who's the main and secondary characters. So it'll be kind of like the final thing if it goes the full season. And so for that purpose, I'd say check it out. If you are not a huge fan of the show, probably not worth your time. But it is overall, it's good, it's fine. I just was hoping for a little bit more, and again, it's probably because I just came off the show, so I was just so used to how it's developed. If there's people coming into this, which there very likely are, people who haven't seen these characters or the show for 3 years or so, it would make sense that they would like seeing this quick, nearly 2-hour glance at these characters and what they've been up to. But those are my thoughts on Sound Euphonium, the movie, Our Promise, A Brand New Day. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know your favorite music-based anime. That could be anything from Your Lie in April to Sound Euphonium to anything else that I may not be aware of. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I appreciate it immensely. And as always, my good people, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.